Happy Halloween, everybody. It's getting spooky. Yes, very spooky for the rest of the NBA because your Sixers are undefeated at 4-0, looking to improve to 5-0 tonight as they host the Boston Celtics for the second time in 2 weeks. And it's the start of the NBA Group Cup play. Live from the Xfinity Lounge, it's the PHLY Sixers pregame show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Along with Rich, I'm Devon. Bree is producing the show. All of you in the chat, happy Halloween. Hope everybody gets some good candy. Save us some Snickers and some gummy bears and some all kinds of treats that you have. Bring us a grab bag so we can snack on it while we watch this game tonight. A lot to get to. Joel Embiid in the lineup, of course, so we'll talk about him. Jared McCain inching closer. He and Paul George getting back a little sooner rather than later. And as much as we've talked about the winning and the good offenses that they've had, got to check in on the defense just a little bit later in order to win this basketball game. We'll do that, plus our picks later on, of course, with Bet365. But, Rich, we got to talk about their last victory, back-to-back nights.
What a game, man.
Yeah, man.
How about that for a back-to-back, huh? We thought that Monday game was pretty good, super short-handed, playing the full-strength Magic.
Yes, sir.
Thought that was a pretty triumphant win. And because they have that triumphant win, they're dead in the water for 3/4 of that game against Washington. Washington is unbelievable. They're scoring like crazy. And then they just keep playing. Like they just run through the tape every single night. I don't know how they did it, considering how exhausted they were. I mean, that was the definition of a schedule loss.
Yep.
And then in the fourth quarter, they said, you know what? It's not a schedule loss tonight. The three guards, Quentin Grimes, Tyrese Maxey, and VJ Edgecombe, they played those guys, I think, like the last 17 minutes of the game when you include fourth quarter and overtime. And those guys closed, and they played probably their best defensive stretch of the season so far. You're right. We're going to talk about the defense in a little bit, which has not been great. Not been great, everybody. It's okay. There's room for improvement. It's been a lot of great stuff going on here. We can observe while still being happy with the overall product from the Sixers. But they got stops, man. They got stops. And Bona, of course, man. It's somebody new every single night. And you know, some nights it's Drummond. Opening night in Boston, it was Dominic Barlow after Joel Embiid's shift is over. And the other night, it's Bona, man. Bona just blocking everything. CJ McCollum, man. He's still probably got Bona in his nightmares with all those blocks. So
did we have it right giving him player of the game based on how the game played out? It was the right call, man. 5 blocks between fourth quarter and overtime, and some key blocks plus the offensive rebound for us. Only 2 points of the night, Rich, on that putback dunk after Maxey got to the basket and couldn't finish. It was just, I mean, the guy was unbelievable down the stretch there, where we've had so many questions about what he does. Even the timing at times where he can get himself in foul trouble. A crafty veteran like CJ McCollum, could he have got him in the air and just stayed grounded and got him to hit him? You know, he didn't. Instead, Bona timed it perfectly and got that block. So kudos to him, and we'll see what he has tonight against the Boston Celtics.
So I'm with you that he should have been the player of the game. But, you know, my take on player of the game is it does not have to be the guy who scores 35 points, the guy who is technically the best player of the night. Like, I thought you guys nailed opening night in Boston, giving it to VJ because, yeah, was Tyrese the best player on the Sixers that night? Absolutely. But you weren't expecting Tyrese to go off to that level, but we've seen it plenty of times before. So VJ having that moment, he was the player of the game. And just like Bona just felt emotionally like the player of the game, the guy that took them over the line. I would say number 2 in that regard the other night, Quentin Grimes. Some great defense down the stretch, makes the big 3 to tie it up and send Joel Embiid around the stanchion. So, man, this is fun. I'm looking forward to tonight. I got to say, this Boston team, they outplayed the Sixers on opening night for most of that game, but Tyrese and VJ were just incredible. Oubre makes the big 3 down the stretch after struggling from the field. Very interested to see both how Nick Nurse adjusts, but Joe Mazzulla did some pretty crazy stuff in that game. And the two things that I am looking at when I went back and tried to refresh myself, because it feels like, you know, it's only 3 games ago, man, but it just feels like a lot has gone on at this point. But the two things, particularly with the Sixers on offense, because Boston has been a better defensive team than offensive team at the start of this year, and it's that Joel Embiid had Jaylen Brown on him for most of the game, and he really struggled.
He did not attack that matchup.
No, he didn't, and I think Joe Mazzulla So Joe Mazzulla made 2 moves in that game that were big. One of them, I think, worked spectacularly. That's the Embiid one. We'll get to the other one in a sec. Backfired spectacularly. But I think he saw Embiid and he said, you know what? I'm going to make him like push off on that left knee. I'm going to see, can you be physical against the smaller Jaylen Brown? And, honestly, Devon, when we look back at the Sixers-Celtics matchups over the years, Mazzulla has liked putting smaller players on Embiid. I remember a couple years ago, they put Drew Holiday on him at the beginning of the game just as a way to give him a different look and sort of double him. So does Joel handle that differently this time? I mean, look, I think you guys said it the other night. The offense looks pretty good, and that I will take how Joel has played offensively, both against Charlotte and against Washington. It's the other end of the court that has been much more problematic so far. But okay, so basically, how does he attack Jaylen Brown? The other thing that I am looking at is, man, at the start of that game, Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics, they did not think VJ Edgecombe could hit the broadside of a barn. Some of the threes that he was given in that game, like Anthony Simons is running off Edgecombe to double Maxey 40 feet from the hoop. Look, Maxey's unbelievable. I understand why you'd want to double him at some point, but just like doubles that don't really make sense even with that level of player. And VJ Edgecombe is getting wide open catch and shoot 3-pointers. They did a bunch with Peyton Pritchard, but Derrick White just running off VJ Edgecombe. That first game, it felt like they were daring him to shoot. He got hot, and then he sort of closed the game with his transition and some of the other things as well. I can't imagine we're going to see that tonight. I think as you guys talked about yesterday, VJ probably not going to shoot his current percentage, just like all of these guys shooting above 40% from beyond the 3-point line. How do they deal with sort of a more sort of standard defense? How does VJ get some buckets? And in fairness, he's gotten some buckets against more standard defenses the other night too. But I will say that was the outlier for sure, just how they were guarding him.
So when you see all these things, what are some of the things that have really, obviously the Boston game that started off, you just mentioned the back-to-back where it took place and how they handled that, coming back in the fashion that they did. How did they keep this going, man? And we talked a little bit about this yesterday of how realistic is this? I mean, they're shooting the basketball crazy. They're putting up a lot of offensive points. Again, we'll get to the defense a little bit later, and we can show you something about the fourth quarter points as well. Bree has a graphic for that a little bit later, but how do they keep this going? Because you're right. Boston had them in game 1. They should not have won that game. Boston should have won that game, but they did not. The Sixers did, and they stole that one. And now they get a chance to match up again for the second time in less than 2 weeks. They'll see them a third time, I think, in the next week or so, and that'll be it for a while.
That's a lot of Sixers-Boston games early in the season.
But because of where we were in the beginning of this basketball team and not knowing what the identity was going to look like, Maxey said all those things, but will it really translate to the floor? Will the identity shift a bit? And we've seen it shift. And we also saw them face adversity in all 4 games, Rich, and respond. So now that we are here and we have a different view and a different outlook of what this basketball team is and what it looks like, what it plays like, the play style and all, how do they keep this going? If not for just the start of this month, going into now the month of November, where they're going to certainly have double-digit games and some important basketball games, but a lot of home games too, to stack the wins that we talked about. How do they keep this going?
2 things. The offense I would just leave as is. Yeah, they're not going to shoot the same percentage, but it looks great. Like the fact I am buying this offense being one of the better offenses in the league, which is the amount of shot creation, how well they're all playing together, the back cuts they're getting, the driving lanes always being there. Yeah, sure, they're not going to shoot this percentage at that level all year, but I'm pretty confident this offense is going to be good. 2 things that they can do to keep it going. I think number 1, they're already there, is just the spirit of never giving up in a game. And I know that sounds like cliche, like never giving up, but Devon, they have all of these double-digit fourth quarter comebacks. Like the idea that they realize, like, look, man, the NBA game, the way they play now, it's a lot of possessions. The fact that you're down 10 points with 7 minutes left in the game's not over. It's not. We can continue to keep pushing the pace, keep playing fast. I thought Quentin Grimes was really he was the leader in that regard the other night with, turning up the defense, playing fast, getting out in transition. They've done that the entire season so far. So that's good. And I think that's going to be important too, because we're going to see different iterations of this team. We're going to see Paul George come back. We're going to see Jared McCain come back. Hopefully we're going to see a better defensive Joel Embiid. We're going to see different combinations, different things work, a little bit of adversity. If they can just keep that general ethos, though, of like, look, we're going to play 48 minutes. We have a lot of guys who can get up and down the floor on this team. Just keep going. Don't get discouraged even when the defense is a little bit stinky, and just continue to play hard. I think they've already set a nice base in that regard, especially with Tyrese leading the way. Give him a lot of credit. That's number one. Number two, and this is the big thing for tonight, they got to start guarding people a little bit better.
Save that one.
Yeah, I know.
Save that one.
They got to start
guarding people. But they do have
people.
to start guarding people.
And that's the big element of this, where they have not been a very good defensive team. They moved up a little bit in the defensive rankings, but yeah, without getting into any of the specifics, because we're going to save that for a couple minutes later. That's the big thing. They need to be a little bit more. They've been all offense, no defense. They moved up into like
they have their spurts of defense,
the low 20s.
It helps them win the game.
The other night,
it
was the best they defended. And you got a team I will say, you have a team in Boston tonight too. If you can just get back in transition against these guys, I think Boston sort of matches up with the Sixers, because the Celtics, Devon, they don't get to the rim at all. They shoot the most threes in the league, and they shoot the fewest attempts at the rim in the league. Okay, well, the Sixers, that is what worries me a little more, is guards getting dribble penetration and just causing all sorts of havoc. So a team that wants to shoot threes, yeah, sure, they're dangerous. They can get hot from beyond the arc. But if you could just get back in transition, which they did not do the first night in Boston, they did not do that very well for most of the game. I do think this is a team they might be able to handle a little bit in terms of the penetration. So,
after losing their first three, the Boston Celtics have won their last two.
Been good.
They're now 2-3, two good wins too.
Yeah.
And last one blowing out the Cleveland Cavaliers at home. So the Sixers getting a team that is starting to build some confidence on their home floor tonight as the NBA Cup gets underway. We'll talk about the NBA Cup, what it looks like for the Sixers, the schedule, what the court looks like, all of it. We'll get to the defense. We'll talk about the key players and the starting lineup tonight. What does it look like? Will we get a similar starting lineup? Will it be a little bit different? We'll let you know on the other side. It's the PHLY Sixers pregame show presented by Bet365. I'm going to tell you about them on the other side. Join us when we come back. All right, folks, got to tell you about Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. We've been hot around here for our pregame picks, so stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss that, so you can start to build up your coin for Sunday for the football games as well. But 90 million users worldwide, live stream, 780,000 events a year. You got a big game tonight. Could Toronto wrap up the baseball season by taking down LA? That's possible, right? And how about your hockey bets and maybe your basketball bets, early payout winners? If your team in hockey goes up with a 3-goal lead, in basketball, if your team goes up by 20, will Philadelphia go up by 20 over Boston? Well, that's an instant payout for both of those sports. 3-goal lead, 20 points there for basketball on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app, use code PHLY365 when you sign up. And new customers, you now get $300 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose. Here's the play. You get $300 when you deposit $10. Place a bet for $5. You get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. That's good for bonus bets and can be used on spreads, total player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app. As always, must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Also, have to talk to you about my good people over there at Rothman Orthopedics. Yes, whatever, it's a sore knee, stiff shoulder, or nagging back pain, Rothman Orthopedics is here to help you get back to the life that you love. You want to get back out there Saturday. Maybe you have some Saturday runs playing some basketball, maybe some Sunday morning runs that you get up and play. You don't want to be all bothered and injured and dealing with this nagging pain. You got to go see all the good people at Rothman Orthopedics, from everyday strains to long-term joint pain, with care that's efficient, effective, and close to home. Don't let pain keep you sidelined. Schedule an appointment today at rothmanortho.com/PHLY. Rothman Orthopedics, your mobility, our mission. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers pregame show here on a Friday. Happy Halloween, everybody. What do the costumes look like out there? Look at our costumes. Look at us. Look at us. Look at our costumes. Here's a good costume for you. The foam finger, asking you to hit that like button while you hang out with us here during the pregame show. please do so. Hit that like button. Let us know how we're doing on the show. Let Bree know the great job that she's doing, of course. And also go and check out the poll that she had placed up there, just simply asking a question about tonight's game. Will the Sixers stay undefeated and go 5-0, or will they face their first loss? Make sure you go vote. Bria have the poll results right before we sign off here on the pregame show. And don't forget to also go sign up at allphly.com. You have until tonight to do so. Rich's great newsletter, Colin Derrick's great features and stories and recaps after the Sixers basketball game, all at allphly.com. And because our teammate Brandon Graham decided, you know what? I can work 2 jobs. I can do 2 jobs.
You can do it.
55% off for you to sign up, and that's only through tonight. So go sign up. You get your free t-shirt when you sign up, Discord access to all our events as well, and supporters club, all of that stuff. You get it courtesy of being a diehard member, allphly.com. Go sign up. All right, Rich, the NBA Cup. Number 1, let's look at the schedule for the Sixers, because the schedule for the Sixers and the NBA Cup is this: Boston tonight, Detroit on the 14th of November, Orlando at home on the 25th of November, and Brooklyn the 28th at Brooklyn. So you have 3 tough teams in this group.
And then Brooklyn.
And they see Brooklyn on Sunday, by the way. So if things don't go well tonight, you get to bounce back at 6 p.m. on Sunday in Brooklyn to get back into your winning ways before they have some tougher matchups on Tuesday and Wednesday in a back-to-back with Chicago and Cleveland. But your thoughts on the NBA Cup, how things have been so far since it's gotten underway, and that's a tough schedule.
I respect the Cup, man. I respect it. The issue is the Sixers have not played that well in the Cup over the last 2 years.
They have not.
Even 2 years ago, when they were generally rolling as a regular season team with Embiid earlier in the year. Remember, they lost a game to Cleveland early on. They haven't had it together. So my big issue with the Cup is that I don't like the way the courts look. The concept of having the in-season tournament, even if the stakes aren't great, the court is just, and by the way, we were talking about it earlier, like there's going to be an Amazon game tonight. I'm sure the cameras are going to be nice and clear, and we're going to look at that. We're going to look at that blue court. It's fine, man. Like, just have the normal court and stick the cup in the middle. I'm cool with that. Like, sort of NBA finals on the middle of the court. I don't know, man.
What if they put the blue in the circle of each end of the floor? So you got
this.
You got the paint, and the circle is blue or red, whatever they want to do, but keep the floor where it's the natural hardwood brown.
Yeah. It's
you don't like the court.
I would like that.
Do you guys like the court?
I would like that.
Jess says boo, Rich. She likes the court.
Well, and Jess also, I think, made a good point. I feel like, is Nick Nurse just not feeling the cup? He's like, we're going to take it easy. I don't feel like taking this team to Vegas with the cup. I don't know. It's been goofy. Yeah, I don't love the court. It's probably a little easier in person, because you're not.
So when I did get down there for one, I think it was year 1 when they had the court. They were playing the Knicks, and I was there for that one. It didn't look bad when I was up close on it. So it didn't look bad up close. But I understand, because, number 1, I don't like much change. And when the courts look as good as they do already, I don't need much change to it. It already looks fine.
It's not even the look on the court, man. It just hurts my eyes to look at it the entire game. It's so much blue. That's all. Okay.
Gene Ross says Boise State. There you go.
It is a little bit of Boise State. It would be nice if the Sixers were a great NBA Cup team and the Sixers blue court became as legendary as Boise State, their blue turf, as their college football program was killing it for all those years. But okay, I'm going to stop being a grump, but I'm just letting everybody know I don't mind the cup. I respect the cup. I'd like the Sixers to actually advance in the cup, maybe play in some of those Vegas games, but I don't love the courts. I'm sorry, I don't.
So that's where I was going to go with you next, which was how it could be important, though, because we saw the Indiana Pacers take advantage of it and get to the NBA Finals with it by getting to that NBA Cup, playing, losing, but getting there and seeing some success there. Oklahoma City got there. They also lost in that one, but the next year they got to the finals. And I'm not saying that that's what catapults it, but the way that they've been playing, and again, the identity that we're now seeing them play under here with this Tyrese Maxey-led group. But we've also seen the camaraderie that's been there. Joel hasn't played, but the 20-minute restrictions that he's had so far. But even when he has to come out and he's frustrated, you see him at the end of the game running up to try to chest bump a Bona, and he's running around the stanchion after Bona gets the put back dunk. So as people say, the vibes are high. And if they keep playing like this and even winning in these cup play and advance for something like that, Richard, they haven't experienced any kind of winning, is what we talked about a lot. They've always been a team that we expect to get to the Eastern Conference Finals and maybe even the NBA Finals. However, they haven't done that. So could something as small as this with the NBA Cup maybe change again how they view things and just give them that feeling of, oh, this is what it feels like, even though it's a midseason tournament?
Maybe. I mean, we've seen different teams like last year, Milwaukee, win the cup. Weren't great the rest of the way. The year before, Indiana, they used it kind of as not as much of a.
But they got to the conference finals that same year.
They did make the conference finals that year. That's right. So they used it as a bit of a springboard as well. Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's like a little bit of a higher stakes game. I get it. There's no downside to losing, but these guys are competitive, and I was enjoying Tyrese Halliburton. Just like have some big games. I believe it was against the Bucks a couple years ago. He had that huge game. I felt like that was sort of his coming out party. So that would be cool. I would. Would people get emotional if Joel was lifting the cup in Vegas? I don't know. But the good news, I do agree with you. It's been great to see how involved he is with the team. And even if he is playing only 3 quarters, and that was an upgrade over what he had played the first couple times, only making it through, the beginning of the fourth quarter in the last game. Even down the stretch, he was energized. He was pumped up. You could see he was genuinely happy for a Bona. He was trolling that Wizards fan after the game was over, but he seems like he's in a good place. And I think that probably has a trickle-down effect for the rest of the team, right? That yes. He's bought in. He realizes that, hey, I'm scoring a point per minute right now, but the defense isn't that great, and I'm not playing the whole game. That's okay. I'm still going to be positive about this. I'm still going to be very excited for what my teammates are doing so well at the end of the games. So,
all right, let's take a peek at the starting lineup now with the NBA Cup getting started. Tonight it's Maxey, Edgecombe, Oubre. Walker gets the start again here. No Justin Edwards. You get Walker in this one. Walker struggled last time out with the start, but he played okay against Washington in his minutes. He played better against Washington in the minutes off the bench. So that's the starting lineup. Maxey, Edgecombe, Oubre, Walker, and Embiid. So that means Grimes off the bench, Bona, Edwards. That's your 3 off the bench right there. Maybe you can get some Drummond also in there as well. What do you think of Walker getting after, again, playing a little bit better in that game against Washington where he came off the bench and played 5 minutes, but he was perfect from the floor, had 2 boards, made 2 free throws. His 2 boards were offensive rebounds, and he had 8 points on the evening. So what do you make of his performance against Washington getting the start here tonight in the matchup?
He's been up and down. I would say I like Barlow of the two-way guys who have been the power forwards. But it's like we talked about the other night against Orlando. I think they like this bigger lineup to start the game. It's a little more, you basically have traditional size, right? Maxey, good size, decent size for a 1. VJ, decent size for a 2. Kelly, decent size for a 3. Walker's a 4. And then you got the big fella as well. So I don't mind that as well. I also don't mind, Quentin Grimes, who's clearly one of your best few players. Bringing him off the bench has been working, man. He's been
leave him there.
He's been that microwave scorer, right?
Leave him.
And Devon, I actually was looking at the lineup data because the game the other night, I was so impressed by how Grimes, Maxey, and Edgecombe played down the stretch and how they defended down the stretch. Because, right, that's going to be the question with these guys. It's not, can they score? Can they get buckets? All 3 of those guys can get buckets. We've seen that already. The offense is going to look good. It's, can you get stops on the other end? And against Washington in the guts of the game, they really did that at an impressive level. I looked at it, though. Their 4 most played 3-man combinations. It's the same 4 guys. It's those 3 and Oubre. It's just all of those in different combinations. And by the way, all of those lineups, killing it. They're all killing it. They put any combination of Kelly Oubre, VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey, and Quentin Grimes on the court together. They're all, it's unbelievable. That really is the story of their season so far, that their guards have been terrific, and you have to lump Kelly Oubre in there as well with how he's playing. So, it's been awesome. I do think, by the way, Kelly Oubre tonight, I think he's going to be the guy that Joe Mazzulla is going to dare. He's going to say, hey, see that you're shooting the threes pretty well right now? I'm not buying it. You didn't shoot that well up in Boston. So hopefully KO can still make his
Especially-
threes, but maybe he can find some
Especially
cuts.
when he's the guy that he's like, yeah, if we give him that opportunity, he's the one that's going to say, are you going to dare me? I'm going to keep shooting. And it might work against the Sixers this time and work out for him. Joel Embiid, as Kyle reporting here, that Joel Embiid still on the 20-minute restriction right now, somewhere around there, according to Nick Nurse. So
Seems a little flexible, though.
yeah. So we'll see how that goes right now. As of right now, as I'm looking at the 6:30 injury report, Barlow, George, McCain are the only ones out. I saw that, I think it was Doug Craig asked about Trendon Watford. I didn't see anything with Watford being out, but
Well, we know, the last game was his first game. By the way, I thought he looked okay.
first pass, not good.
Huh?
Settle down after that.
Yeah. And, yeah, the first pass was pretty rough. I was laughing at that, though. I was like, man,
It was so lazy.
that was-
like he didn't play NBA basketball for months, and he made that pass.
It was a bad pass.
That's a pass you and I would make from stepping out there on the floor.
Totally. But
Yeah.
he got put in a bad spot, and then he threw just, oh, God, such a bad pick six. But I thought he settled down, and you could see some of the stuff he can do. Like, I think he might be able to run some pick and pop with Joel at one point, and then he could space all the other guards out. He'll be able to have some options. So I think he's an interesting player to look at moving forward.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to the defense here. We got 2 minutes or so to get to the defense. So your thoughts on the defense? Sixers ranked right now bottom 6 in the league in scoring. They give up 123.8 points per game, and the field goal percentage is at 48.8% right now. For field goal percentage right now, yes, they give up a lot right now. So what do you make of the Sixers defense? How do they get improvement from this group?
Yeah, I mean, they just got to stop the ball better. I mean, it's like, look, Joel right now is, and it's okay. I think he's going to have to get a little bit more confidence in the knee, and there are questions of, what level he'll be able to get back to on that end. But he's clearly not the guy from even 2 years ago on that end. Like, I think everybody saw what Alex Sarr did to him the other night. Alex Sarr looks pretty good. I think he's going to be a keeper in one way or another for the Wizards. There's no way. It was jarring to watch.
It was too easy.
Him do that to Joel Embiid. So the other guys, they got to step up, got to stop the ball. But the big thing to me, man, is they got to get back on defense. It's like, this is a fast team. You guys are out in transition and causing havoc in those ways. And we've seen so many great defense to
26-9 fast break points against Washington in favor of Washington.
Look, and I will say the other night, like, I do think back-to-backs in the NBA are going to be a huge deal. I don't think the Sixers have had a real schedule advantage game, a rest advantage game so far. That was tough. Like, Washington
100%.
was resting up at home that night before, and the Sixers played a very emotional, hard-playing game, and it was clear that their legs are dead. And I think that's going to be a huge part. Like, I think the Sixers are going to be on the other end of those sometimes when, maybe we're going in, all right, they got the rest advantage, and then they just blow a team out, and it's like, all right, well, they had the rest advantage, and the other team didn't have their legs. That's what's made also the comeback so impressive, because they really just didn't have it for most of the night. I think stopping the ball, that's going to be a huge element of this. They haven't forced a ton of turnovers as well. They're fouling a lot. The whole league is fouling a lot right now. But to me, it all starts with ball pressure, getting in front of guys. I thought Quentin Grimes the other night, that was the best individual defense I've seen from other players. Look, it's going to be a work in progress. I think Paul George, Derek said this the other day, it's going to be massive. He's more important on defense than on offense, just to get that size. So, look, tonight, it's not a terrible matchup. This team does not put a ton of pressure on the rim, but the Sixers got to show it to us, right? Like,
It can't be a layup line either.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Can't be a layup line.
Yep.
Those guys getting easy buckets. Also, how about you play some defense coming out of the locker room in the third quarter where you don't get down and have to make the comeback in the fourth quarter. All right, let's get to the Bet365 picks. Our pick segment brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app using code PHLY365. Whatever the moment, again, never ordinary at Bet365. We're going to hit a little bit of overtime here in the pregame show as we roll over, so everybody stay with us here on the PHLY Sixers pregame show. All right, Bree, let's get to our picks. Same game parlay for me, Rich. Embiid over. The 17.5 was the number. I said, I'm taking that right now. And VJ Edgecombe over 3.5 assists. He has done pretty well, even if he's not scoring the ball in the 20s or 30s. He's still finding his teammates. Love them being at home with a couple of days off. He makes the passes. They knock the shots down. That's a plus, what was that? Plus 165, 190 there for my picks. What do you make of mine and yours? Joel Embiid, 20-plus points. So we're in the same ballpark right there.
We didn't talk about this
No,
before.
we did not. And that's a plus 180. So obviously we agree there.
I've liked the way his offenses looked the last couple of minutes, man.
And I think he's going to be motivated because of what he didn't do against Boston in game 1 to have a much better performance here tonight against them.
And I think they're going
just 4 points.
I think they're going to put Jaylen Brown on him, and I think they might test him a little bit. And when I mean test him, I'm not sure they're going to double him like crazy, at least at the beginning of the game. I think there's an opportunity for him to get going in the half court. Look, he also just didn't make shots in Boston. Like, he should have gotten a little bit more down low against Jaylen Brown. But there were some decent looks that he didn't make as well. So, yeah, I like his chances. I like the way the offense has looked the last couple games. I like his. We didn't bet on this, but the passing was awesome with Maxey in that game. I mean, that's why he was bad in defense on defense in Washington, but I thought offensively, man, he was like, he just was getting to his spots. He was throwing dimes, backdoor. He was making jumpers. He had that one nice post move as well. It looked good. And I think as far as like him, he's just so skilled and so big that he'll find a way to do that. So I like him to get over 20 points tonight. That would be big. Joel in defense. They didn't really have the defense as much in Boston last week. They didn't really have Joel. They still got to win. You get both of those things tonight, I think you got a decent shot.
Absolutely. Those are our Bet365 picks. Pre-game picks. Make sure you sign up using the code PHLY365, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. All right, team, it's time to go watch some basketball. Trick-or-treating out there. Make sure you got the light on, the door is cracked, the kids are coming. You still want to watch the game. Kids coming to the door with their parents. Still, make sure you give them the candy. And after the game, you can tell their parents, hey, don't forget when the Sixers win, it's time for the PHLY Sixers postgame show.
Here.
It's the only postgame show for you right here on the PHLY network, the only one in the atmosphere overall. Bree, what were the final results for your poll that you threw up there for this game?
76% say undefeated.
Wow. Okay. Let's see how everybody goes. We'll be back 10 minutes after the game goes final. Hey, you might catch us 5 minutes after the game goes final. Just make sure you're ready. We'll have the link out on Twitter, but you know where to find us. For Rich, Bree, I'm Devon. Kyle will join us afterwards from the arena. Will they go undefeated and improve to 5-0? We'll be talking about it after the game right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. See you then.
We all silly like the mayor.